You cannot be complacent. You can't allow things to happen to you. You need to be in the driver's seat. You need to be in control. When you expect things to work your way, you're setting yourself up for failure. And a lot of people know that internally. They feel something inside them that is like, this isn't working. Something is wrong. And when you realize that, and you hear it from someone, or you hear it and you put it into action, it removes that nagging doubt in the back of your mind, knowing that you're doing something wrong. As soon as you understand that knowledge and you can conceptualize it, it makes everything much more approachable. If you know that you have to jump down a fall, there's a cliff in front of you. You don't know how big the fall is, but what you do know is that there's a cliff. When you know that there's a cliff and you accept that, you're able to get closer and look down and see what is the next step. When you know the next step, you can find if it's 1,000 feet or 10 feet. And you can take that 10-foot jump, because not knowing leads it to be 1,000 feet every time. When you do know and you look, it's never 1,000. Your mind is going to be your worst enemy at this point. It can be your greatest asset if you acknowledge that and you take advantage of it. But what you cannot do is just leave it. Your mind automatically goes into the negative. It's how humans survived as a species. We're always looking instinctually for danger, for a threat that could kill us. That's how evolution works. That's how animals work. The animals and species and insects, whatever organism survives, is one that has had the most vigilance, the most reproduction, and just the most successful life. Humans naturally are scared because we always are looking for the threat, the danger. And when you don't know, if you're in the jungle surrounded on all sides, there could be danger on any side. But what happens is if you take a step forward and you start exploring the jungle, and you've survived this long, you took that step, you went past that one obstacle, it means that that obstacle is no longer a possible threat. It's something that you've conquered. And the more you do that, the bigger your comfort zone in the jungle is. You can't stay within your comfort zone forever, though. You can't backtrack and go to a place that you've already explored. You need to actively go forward. You need to go forward to find the new obstacles, to find the new threats. When you're doing that and you're looking and constantly searching, you're going to run into actual threats and obstacles that you need to overcome. Whether it be you need to train harder for your sport, you need to stay up later to do research. There are threats in the jungle, 100%. But when you face them head on, it doesn't allow them to sneak up on you and attack you. The tiger of threat in the jungle, if you know where it is and you can see it the whole time, it's no longer in threat. But when it's sneaking up behind you and from the side or above you, and without you knowing, then it's a real threat, because it catches you off guard and it invades your comfort zone. It invades that safe space in the jungle you have. And when it does that, it takes it away. And what you cannot afford to ever have happen is have your comfort zone be taken away from, because it's yours. It's nobody else's level. Nobody else has your background. Nobody else has the history that you do of your comfort zone. And when you know that, you realize that nothing can take away from what you're comfortable with. When you are comfortable with that, you're able to move on and gain more knowledge, and you're able to get over those obstacles. The hardest part for many people is taking a first step, because they're paralyzed within their comfort zone. They may have taken first steps before it and explored it, but what they did is they retreated back into what they know, into what they felt was the right thing. When you do that, you're setting yourself up for failure, because that's when things attack. That is when the tiger will come and it will absolutely destroy everything that you have. You can't just be on a linear path. You can't simply exist. You need to adapt and improve, because if you don't, the enemy will. The enemy is not other people or companies or competition. The enemy is life, and it's not you against life. It's no competition in that I get here first, or if I do this best, I will win. The enemy is simply trying to destroy you. It's what life does. It's how energy works. The second law of thermodynamics says that an object cannot simply remain at the same temperature. It will constantly lose energy. This is always true. If you have a hot ball that's just sitting in the middle of the air, the oxygen and nitrogen atoms around it will absorb that heat and disperse it. And eventually the ball is going to cool down. This is true even in space, where there's such microscopic amount of atoms. Black body radiation will still disperse that energy. Energy is not just something that comes from science. It's something that works for humans as well, on a mental and spiritual level. Energy is something that provides you with the will to work harder, to do things, to step out. And if you do nothing, your energy is going to leave. And when a human body has no energy, it means it's dead. The body will physically die if it has no energy, which is why you need to go and eat food. You need to eat food physically to survive, and you need to eat mental and spiritual food to sustain your mind. Your mind will naturally go to the negative, naturally break down, so you need to actively help it. You need to actively step out of the comfort zone you've created and step into the jungle, step into the unknown, because the unknown isn't bad. The unknown is the best thing that you can do. When you're stepping into the unknown, it means that it could be good, it could be bad, but it will never be neutral. When you find something that's good, run with it. Continue on that path. When you find something bad, learn from it. Don't ignore it. Don't place it in a black box and seal it and bury it underground. Explore it. Find out what's bad about it. Find out how you can improve from it. Because if you don't, you're going to encounter that same thing later on in the path. When you are on a path and you find the good and the bad, accept it. Both are beneficial. But what you cannot do is do nothing. If you do nothing, the things around you are going to still be doing things. There's no way around it. It's a basic law of the universe. Physically, mentally, in any way you look at it, things are going to be happening. So don't fall by the wayside.